Yeah,
That's
Stompy is in all sorts of flex mode tonight.
Yep, you got it.
That's a
All I do is win.
All fitting.
All I do is win.
That's good. I like that. With the hair, with the what? Do it one more time, Stompy. Say something. You gotta let the people see that.
Oh, it's just so silky smooth. I just got out of the shower.
Is that Tresemme?
Yeah, you bet.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
And then I'll do the hair flip.
Yeah.
I used to cut it like every 2 weeks and like an eighth of an inch.
Hang on, I'm taking notes. I want to make sure I get this right. The beauty tips with Stompy.
And then I just let it grow out one day, and it's just like I have the thickest hair in the world. I can't grow a beard for the life of me, but I have super thick hair.
It starts with the scalp scrub, Zach.
I got that.
It's 2019. Regeneration's real.
Or you can get like that spray. Have it like just start streaking down your face.
Ooh, that Beijing. Yikes. It's been known to cause blindness, by the way.
Goddamn.
That would be so awful.
But I got a full head of hair. Have you've seen Arrested Development where Tobias gets plugs and it's got like graft versus host disease and he's just like dying, but he's got this full head of hair.
Will you be upset with me if I tell you I've never seen Arrested Development?
You got to watch the first 3 seasons. After that, it kind of gets not great.
Yeah. The return didn't work as well as I think they wanted.
Nope. Unfortunately.
Anybody got a segue for that? Some sort of NFL player that's happened to?
Speaking of the return, Miko Hardman, what up?
Coming to you in your first rounds of rookie fantasy football drafts.
Well, I was going to allude to the return. We could, like, if something that didn't work in the return, we could talk about, like, Carlos Hyde in Kansas City.
Oh, I'd love to talk about Damian Williams for the next hour and a half.
Just for you, Gabe. You're welcome.
God, how did I get that wrong? How did the Kansas City Chiefs not draft a running back in round like 4 or earlier? Those bullies.
Because they were busy taking Sammy Watkins' replacement in round 2. And that one was for you, Gabe.
Disgusting, dirty.
Speaking of segues, I think I'll introduce the show at this point because I'm not going to let you speak for much longer there, the Swoboda. What are you talking about? All right. I thought we could, start off with the hair takes, the Tresemme, the Tresemme in Stompy's case. The open bar brought to you by Stompy and whatever he's sporting on his scalp. So it's the open bar. It's live. It's here. It's 9:30 Eastern ish. Yeah, ish. Yep, nailed it on that. And I thought every time I feel like I start earlier and then I never actually do. Y'all were giving me, I don't know if it was props or a hard time for actually sharing the link like 30 minutes before the show actually started. I just had an opportunity in front of the computer. And I said, maybe I can be organized for once. But I certainly didn't want to start the show at the right time and be organized from that point on. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about my friend, my co-host, my dude, J Mike. How are you?
Bro, asking in the ambiance that is the twilight of the NFL draft, where Hakeem Butler truthers have crawled back under some disgusting, dark, damp, dank cave, where the folks who like Kelvin Harmon are licking their wounds, hoping he simply makes a roster like myself, where where you listen to slanderous talk about some of your favorite players come from people that you considered friends. The Svoboda effect has now become the anti-Svoboda effect. I don't know how, but I'm fantastic. I'm happy to be here. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place to be for me right now, specifically. So I'm grateful to be here, man. It's good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah, the draft happened, and I think day 2 was what we were all waiting for. We got spoiled a little bit with some things in the first round, and we'll maybe talk about that later. But first, Foist, let's introduce our beautiful, beautiful guests. What was that? The Swoboda. What was that? Why'd you do that?
I'm sorry, I had to cough. My apologies.
I thought you were saying that you were possibly not beautiful, or maybe that you were
certainly
more beautiful than the other two, or
I don't compare it to these guys.
no.
We've already talked about Stompy's Tresemme here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with you this one, but I was just messing with you. Happy to have you tonight, my brother. Thanks for coming in late. What, J Mike scooped you up like 2 hours before the show, just coming in all heroic?
No, I feel like he gave me good enough advance notice. It was a few hours ago.
All right.
It was fine. I'm happy to be here with you guys and talk some football.
I'm going to check the receipts just to make sure that I didn't set him up for failure here, Gabe. Thanks for bringing that up.
Happy to have you on, man. We always like to call back to the names that end up being created on the open bar. You know, the People's Champ, the Swoboda.
I was created on the open bar, no doubt.
I was created
Test tube, baby.
from scratch. We started with flour, water.
That's like the blandest
Well, you weren't
combination of all time. Do I get anything good in there? No.
No,
Wait,
flour,
wait,
water,
wait,
and
wait.
salt. That's all you get.
Wait, Svoboda, where do you live?
In Indiana.
flour and water is all you get, homie.
Am I here in Ohio? If Indiana's the blandest state, then you're like just the
Oh, look,
second blandest? I don't know.
I am a neighbor to the blandest state, not the blandest state.
Anyways, happy to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me in this professional environment of yours.
And FYI, the receipt, Gabe, says 3:46 p.m.
Plenty
Eastern
of time.
That's pretty darn good.
Is that the cutoff? Was that too little, too much? What should we expect in the future?
I hit him at 3:46. He hit me back 6 minutes later and was like, "Beam me up, Scotty."
That's our guy right there, the Swoboda. On to the next, the Stompy of sorts, the Tresemme man himself. The close-up version of him is far better than what we're seeing right now. If you're joining us live on YouTube every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern-ish,
Nope.
It is the open bar.
No,
There he is,
you messed up.
Stompy.
I'm here.
This is why you need to be here live with us. You even need to be here before the show starts, because we'll just, screenshot things and give you opportunity to see. Man, the teeth get me.
This is how I
That's the
smile.
look right
You're making
there.
fun of my smile.
When he tilts the head up
I
and he
know.
looks down.
I know. There's a combination that just is so fierce.
Gold.
Happy to have you on, brother. Good to see you again.
I'll stop scaring people. Hey, glad to be here, guys. It's been a little bit. Glad to see my guys, Bunman and J Mike over here. And we got. I think I was on with Swoboda last time too.
He brought that up earlier.
Yeah.
I told J Mike I don't think I've been on an episode where I haven't been on with somebody that I had been on previously.
We gotta carry you, man. You're kind of like a
I know we
Somebody
don't
has to.
really trust
a
you, man.
Robin.
We can't
You're
trust
kind of a
you.
Robin to everybody's Batman.
All right, can I be like Sam Wilson to Captain America though?
All right, I'll give you that.
Okay, that's cool.
Bucky
Is
Rogers,
this
something like that.
pre or post bionic arm? Just curious.
But,
Oh, sorry.
well, Sam Wilson is Falcon
Bucky Rogers.
Oh,
for
okay,
you.
my bad.
For you uncultured
My bad.
out there.
I'm waiting for you guys to come out on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good look. Everybody
Man.
watch this. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
That'll be the tagline too.
That's a good choice, Swoba, and I won't say any more to not spoil anything, but I just appreciate that. I think you're a sneaky dynasty owner in that regard. If we can compare those two things, so watch out for the Swoboda, guys. Just saying. That was.
I don't think I'm in a league with you, Gabe.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be in a league with you after that comment. I mean, that was deep. If you knew what you were doing. I don't
I'm
know.
a man of many layers.
Hey. All right. Speaking of layers that don't exist on top of Zach's head, what's up, dude?
Not much. We're running it back. This is 2 weeks. I tweeted out I've been hired on as the short order cook of the bar. So if you're hungry, stop by.
What's the special tonight? Can you give it to us? Is that
Hey, we got some lobster rolls cooking. I figure that's my specialty. If you're in the mood, we got some mozzarella sticks, blooming onions. I don't know what they eat in Indiana, but you can tell me, Swoboda.
I think,
breaded
it's flour,
tenderloin.
I think it's just flour and water.
Breaded tenderloins.
Breaded tenderloins. We'll see what we can do.
Yep. Tenderloins as big as your plate.
Breaded tenderloins.
Ooh.
Why don't you just call them chicken fingers?
But it's a sandwich.
Breaded
it's
tenderloins? What it? Oh, like pork tenderloin. Okay.
Yeah, pork tenderloin. It's like this thin, and it's as big as your plate.
Oh, I see. So it's kind
And
of
it's on
like
like
a
the normal size bun. So it's
Wiener
like
Schnitzel.
it's like looking at a giant dartboard with the bun like this big and the tenderloin like this big.
okay, like Wiener Schnitzel though, kind
Ah.
of.
The hell you just
Okay.
Just as a point of clarification, Zach, since Kyle is in the chat, what up, Mr. Lebrecq? You when you talked about these lobster rolls,
Fresh,
sure-
never frozen, never canned.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure they're not from the corner of his basement
No.
where he actually cans lobster and lets it sit for months upon months. So great,
it's
appreciate that.
the side business. So the dummies got to make some money somehow,
Trying to keep these lights on.
Well, J Mike, is there anything that we can discuss tonight? Do you have anything in mind? Do you want to talk about football players that are now football players from college to NFL, the transition, the whole thing they call that, the whatever that is?
I would. But before that, just real quick, just so the people can continue to get a peek inside the open bar and all of the fun and not random nonsense that it is. Before we get into football, real quick, gentlemen, you've got we're going to open up with the draft. I'm excited about this.
Oh boy.
This just hit me. Yeah, this just hit me. I'm excited about this one, actually. When I look at the YouTube feed now, looks like Zach, you've got the 101. Stompy, 102. I've got the 103. Gabe's the 104. Svoboda, 105. We're going to snake this, okay? You have your choices, and what we're going to do is sandwich condiments and cheese. So if you choose a sandwich condiment on the front end, on the back end, you have to choose a cheese and vice versa. Does that make sense to everybody?
You are a dirty, dirty boy, J Mike.
All right. So sandwich condiment. Well, you can even include like burger condiments, if you will, if you want to differentiate the two. But condiment and cheese. And you can't do the same thing in both rounds. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
I'm there.
Zach Reed, 101.
I'm gonna start us off. I feel like the condiments have more variety, so I'm gonna take the 101 cheese. I'm gonna take pepper jack because I gotta have a little kick with my cheese. See, there you go. I've just done it. I've taken Nikhil Harry. Now you guys are all scrambling, and I'm all locked and loaded for my second pick because nobody is gonna take that and enjoy, fellas.
How are you so prepared for this?
For real?
Do it.
I feel like J Mike was feeding the question
Yeah.
pre-debate. I mean,
Like
podcast.
3 hours before the show. Don't worry about it. It was right about the same time he let Swoboda know that we were coming on.
There you go.
Here's the thing. Zach's been in the open bar lounge / kitchen / lobby for the last week, ever since he was on last week. He never left. So somehow, some way, he got a hold of the time stone, went forward, played with the future. He knew this was coming. I don't appreciate that very much. Don't appreciate it very much.
I just been going through the fridge back there and see what we had.
Pepper jack is the 101. That's great. I like that. Sam, Stompy, on you.
So I'm gonna go with a basic one here because I think my condiment is kind of an under the radar condiment. So I'm gonna just go with a basic sharp cheddar.
Can dig that.
It's safe.
By the way, I can eat that stuff by the block. My arteries do not like me.
Sharp cheddar. Now, can you
Yeah,
enlighten us
and-
on the different?
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm with you, J Mike. That's exactly what I'm wondering.
I was just going to ask you, the difference between sharp versus mild, or
Mild,
any of the
medium,
other cheddars.
I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with the amount of lactose in it.
Okay.
So lesser.
This is the kind of content I'm here for. What makes sharp cheddar sharp?
Sharp.
Getting sharper
All right.
on the open bar.
Aging. It's the only
Okay.
difference.
I feel like is it
Aging
supposed to
for
have like
sure,
more
yeah.
bite or something?
A sharper taste.
Yes.
A
Like, does it hurt your
pointier
mouth?
taste. Yeah, it's like like the sharper it is, I think it's like blades, just like cutting through your.
Oh, okay.
gums.
It actually has to do with the bacteria in the cheese, and it consumes the lactose, which produces more. I mean, it gets rid of the sweetness, produces more acids, so you get that sharp taste.
Now,
All right, here we
real
go.
quick, as pointed out by Super Duper Flex in the live chat, is this a Tajay sharp cheddar or just
No.
your basic?
Get out of here
your
with Tajay.
basic-
I don't want
Wow.
anything to do with anybody except for Derrick Henry on the Tennessee Titans. Get out of here.
Is this a Shannon sharp cheddar?
I'll take that.
A Sterling sharp
No.
cheddar?
Shannon Sharp, baby.
Ah. All right.
Hashtag science. All right. 103 to myself. I don't think anyone's going to steal my condiments, so I'm going to stick with the cheese lane. Pepper jack is the definitive 101. My wife is a big fan of a certain cheese. I'm actually going to deviate from that. I am a huge fan of the chicken cordon bleu. And in the chicken cordon bleu, you need a very specific cheese, and that is Swiss cheese, the holiest of cheese. It is
A lot of holes
it
in
is-
your argument.
It
Yeah.
is beautiful. It is wonderful. And if you don't start putting some respect on Swiss cheese's name, I'm gonna leave you looking like Swiss cheese, Gabe. Holes all through you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Austin, Texas, what up? You know what I'm saying? And them put a quick flight away, you know what I mean?
You got I don't know what to say.
You gotta
You got the
respect
hammer
her.
on you, Jamie?
Got real. Just got real. Gabe, you are the 104.
I badly wanted to pick Swiss cheese, so I'm so upset.
Sniper, no sniping. Sniper, no sniping. What up, Mark Wahlberg? I see you, shooter. I see you. Call me Steph Curry, shooter. I see you.
I like that.
Dame Lillard from 40 feet. I see you.
Oh, you calling me PG-13 right now? Because I don't want.
Ooh, you better put a hand in my face. You better.
Dude,
get a hand
how did he give him that many feet between himself and Dame?
But it's a 40-foot shot. Like that was such an awful shot.
2 seconds left. Yeah, get up, get a hand.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Slap the floor. Defense. Get up in its face. That was insane. All right. So we're only allowed to pick cheese this round. Is that right?
No. You can choose your condiment if you'd like, but
really?
it's if you choose a condiment this round, then you have to go cheese next round.
Right.
I started kind of a cheese run, didn't I?
You started a cheese run.
You did.
You did. And so if you pick cheese, you have to pick condiment in the second round. Am I understanding the rules correctly?
That's the one.
Rectamundo.
All right. So we've gone pepper jack, sharp cheddar, and Swiss. Correct? This is getting exhausting.
Tajay sharp cheddar. Oh no, excuse me.
No.
I'm
Shannon
sharp cheddar. Shannon
The
sharp
goat
cheddar.
sharp. The goat sharp.
Got it.
God, man, I'm just so upset with you, J. Mike. I really thought you were gonna say provolone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the cheese they put in Hot Pockets?
Yes.
I don't even.
It was wonderful in my high school years, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
I like provolone. I put provolone on tuna.
So I'll wrap it on hot dogs, but I don't eat very
Provolone's a
many hot
good
dogs now.
cold sandwich hot dog.
Yeah.
Cold sandwich hot dog.
Y'all got me tripping. A cold. We'll just end the sentence with cold sandwich. You know what? Let's go. This is what's gonna happen. Mozzarella.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm not. Look, let me clarify here. Like butter. I'm talking about the fresh mozzarella. You know, the one that looks like a big old 8-ball of the powder. All right.
Fresh out the cheesecloth.
Fresh out the cheesecloth, okay, and it ain't stepped on. Dig me.
Ooh.
All right. So I'm not saying just like your whatever mozzarella that you're getting in the cold cheese section or whatever that part of the store is. I'm bougie as fuck when I'm talking mozzarella. Okay. Okay. Take that, Swoboda.
Well, you guys
Swoboda's
kind
on you,
of
105. You got the double dip here.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of interested in the second round because everybody that went said, well, I think my condiment's kind of under the radar. Like, I don't know how many condiments I can think of, and everybody's just under the radar. So I guess I'll just take my cheese first, and you guys kind of spoiled it because I really love provolone cheese.
Hot Pockets.
I love
basic
cold
Indiana
sandwich.
answer.
And provolone's like a staple. So I didn't want to take that. And then it's snakes, right? You said, J. Mike.
Yes.
What?
So I can go ahead and take my condiment here, and I'll just do the 101 classic yellow mustard. Goes on everything.
What? Whoa! What's everything here, friend? What? No, what's everything?
I mean,
tuna salad.
There is
salad. Get out of here.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Tuna salad. Chicken
Sure,
salad.
why not?
Oh God, I'm gonna vomit.
It goes on just about
First time
everything.
ever on the open bar, somebody's gonna vomit. This is a drinking podcast. And nobody's vomited before.
I can't think of a sandwich in my head where I would be like, I wish this did not have mustard. Like,
Now I'm just gonna try mustard on tuna just to see what it tastes like.
do it. Why
Just
not?
make
Why
a
not?
video.
Ugh.
Just to make a video. Oh.
Mustard.
All right. Gabe, it's back to you. 202.
Most start Raheem Mustard.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on. He picked a cheese too. What'd you pick for your cheese?
Provolone.
Oh, provolone and mustard.
Absolutely.
What are
That
we
sounds
doing? What are
delicious.
we doing with this after the fact, J Mike? Like we can put this on anything that we want.
I specifically said
Right.
very specific sandwich condiment. However, if you like to leverage versatility as one of the weapons in your argument,
Yeah.
which Swoboda eloquently did,
And
I'm
that's
all for it.
pretty much what people do in fantasy football as well, right? The
Yes,
whole
a lot of people like the Christian
the
McCaffrey.
on pace, the on pace argument.
Just to extrapolate some condiments.
Listen, man, if you had this spicy brown mustard and you took it out over the lifespan as long as mustard's been created like normal mustard, man, come on, son.
Are you telling me brown mustard is better than classic yellow mustard because of your extrapolation?
Are we about to have a mustard draft?
You ever see a guy pull up in a Rolls Royce and say, "Pardon me, but do you have any Frenches?"
No, you don't. You don't. You know why?
Ray Poupon.
Trey Poupon.
I've never expected this much hate for yellow mustard. Like if I would have picked ketchup, I would have expected you to just like come to my house and beat on me. But I picked mustard. Like, what is this?
It's a cultured podcast. This is the open bar. I mean, this
not
is not
sophisticated enough
the
to
Dynasty Dummies here. This is the open bar. We're classy.
Provolone and mustard, and I'm
We have
not
no
classy.
respect for any of your takes. I don't care who you are.
This is actually an intervention, Chris. We actually are. It's a dump on everything about you. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm ready.
Yeah, Outhouse purposefully failed so we could act like we needed another person.
You
We
guys
knew- we
told
knew
me
you'd
you
come
needed
on.
help.
You said you needed help.
I just wanted help. And next thing I knew, I picked mustard, and I'm getting destroyed in here.
Boo that man.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm up the 202. You know, every time I think about that fresh mozzie is one of my favorite things to do as a cute little appetizer, you know, before we put on our scarves and our loafers and smoke cigars. But is tomato, fresh slice of tomato, you know, some olive oil, a little basil. So I'd almost want to pick olive oil as like a condiment going on that route, but it might just end up a little weird and not so much on the sandwich course. So let's go with because you'll probably see where I'm going with this. Let's go with a marinara. A marinara.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
He's looking for that meatball sub.
Hey.
I see you pair your mozzarella with your marinara. I like that.
Now, Gearing, that must be from like the Liguria region of Italy, right?
Indeed.
Up in the north, yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah.
This man picks marinara.
Part owned by America. A marinara.
This man gets marinara and gets
Marinara.
applauded. What is this? I picked mustard. Marinara is a sandwich condiment. I picked mustard. And I'm getting booed.
I limited myself.
Indiana's so basic.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever. Go ahead.
Flour and water.
Maybe a tiny bit of salt.
I want to say my what's it called? Honorable mention first, but I'm gonna save it just in case one of you folks on the back end really just are ready with a strong take. That said, at the 203, for those old enough, you've probably heard this in a commercial. If you're probably less than, I don't know, 24 years old, you may not know this. But a sandwich is not a sandwich without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip.
Nah, dude, that is a salad dressing. Get out of here.
Miracle Whip?
Yes.
Miracle Whip has been absolutely the starting point for my sandwiches since before I can recall. It is beautiful, it is versatile, and it tastes a million times better than actual mayo.
Bruh.
I am anti-mayo. And you bring me all the hate, bring me it all. That's fine.
Wait, okay.
But
I
Miracle
love you,
Whip,
but I can't follow you there.
I'm here. I'm here for the Miracle Whip. So talking about going on tuna, Sam. You ever
Miracle Whip.
try your tuna with Miracle Whip and tell me what it's like to visit heaven and come back to earth. Okay?
All right. Listen, you keep putting your salad cream or salad dressing on your sandwich.
Whoa. No,
Salad cream.
so
Yeah, I looked up Miracle Whip. I looked up Miracle Whip on Wikipedia, and it says, see also salad cream.
Oh my goodness. Salad
Wikipedia
cream.
be hating, bruh.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
J Mike, you know that Miracle Whip is literally mayonnaise with paprika. Like that's
I know,
pretty
bro.
much what it is.
I'm clown. I don't really hate mayonnaise. I'm just saying I like Miracle Whip better. that was for effect.
Here,
Calm down.
it's even called Kraft
love
Miracle Whip dressing.
I don't know.
Before I just angered everyone. Mayo's not bad. I was just 204. Sam, go for it.
No, I don't know if a lot of people do this, but I do it, and it's fantastic, especially with that sharp cheddar. Give me some of that creamy sriracha.
Okay.
Love that.
I saw the Broncos hat. I figured he was just going to take the tallest condiment left. I don't know.
What is the tallest condiment?
I don't know. We end up with Drew Lock and some sriracha.
That actually reminds me of a story. I have a friend from college who no, it's weird. Yes, who had a weird fear of like large volumes of condiments. So you could like show up with a gigantic bucket of like mayonnaise or whatever, and he'd freak out at you. It's real weird. So we just send him pictures all the time of like stuff at sports games and be like, "How does this make you feel, Brandon?" And then I won $20.
It always ends with you winning. I like.
I know. I was gonna say, yeah.
Listen,
Every story.
You got to have that kind of attitude if you wanna win that SFB 9. Okay, you gotta have that winning attitude.
Strong. To close us out, last but not least.
So I feel like Pepper Jack wrapped this. So I'm going to get a little outside of the box. But first off, have any of you guys, this is not going to be my pick, but have any of you guys ever had black garlic? And you can spread it. It is absolutely unctuous. It is amazing. It's not going to be my pick, but if I thought that had been an experience collectively, that would be where I'd go. But I'm going to take pickled red onions to top off my sandwich, to top off whatever it is you're eating. You need that. You want it. I got some in the fridge in the back of the bar if anybody wants to swap out their mustard with some pickled onions.
Your lobster roll will come with
This
pickled
is ridiculous.
onions.
I want this
This
a
is
vote.
ridiculous.
Can we poll the group chat there, J Mike, of who won
I'm
this
gonna
draft?
put us on Twitter here. Yeah, we'll
Who
get
won
you
the
covered.
draft?
Don't worry, I'll
Yeah.
leave you out so you don't get embarrassed, buddy.
There's some disgusting combinations in here, and I don't see how mustard loses this. I'm calling that shot.
Yeah, basic.
Yeah, basic.
We were polling
Um,
Twitter, right? If it's Twitter, then Twitter's
Oh,
basic as hell, man.
yeah, Twitter's so basic. Twitter's so basic. Real quick, any honorable mentions? One of which I wanted to throw out real quick. Frank's Red Hot. I am huge Frank Red Hot's fan on just about everything. Eggs, chili, whatever it may be, especially sandwiches.
All right, J Mike. You lost me with your Miracle Whip take. You've redeemed yourself with Frank's Red Hot.
Bring it in.
Literally everything. Literally
Bring
everything.
it in. I mean, the most versatile. I mean, it's the. I don't know who's the most versatile NFL player ever.
Versatile.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, it's got to be Deion. That's what came to my head.
I'm about to say Cordell Stewart. I don't know, something like that.
Taysom Hill.
But like the elite of it.
Man, you know he's versatile when you take out Drew Brees when he's in the red zone just for Taysom Hill.
No, I would think Taysom Hill is more like the spicy brown mustard, because if you extrapolate Taysom Hill out, like receiving and throwing, like
He's the greatest player ever.
Serious production.
You ever see that man run a route? It's a thing of beauty.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Any other honorable mentions? Nope.
Thousand Islands pretty goat.
It's a good one.
That's a
good one.
The special, the mac sauce.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a lazy version, yeah. But when you said Swiss, J Mike, I was thinking like Rubens in my head the whole time. And I mean, that's pretty much what you got right there with Swiss and Thousand Island, among other things.
Word up. Very good. That was fun. I enjoyed that one, guys. I guess we can actually talk draft stuff. Yeah, I know. Way back in the chat, in the beginning, at the beginning of this, one of the questions was thrown out, and obviously with the NFL draft, everybody's at their landing spots. We've been incredibly pleased with some things. If you're Sam Lane, you've just like, nope, you just turn the page on the entire draft altogether. Which, wherever you land in the spectrum, in terms of biggest risers for you guys, who are players that you feel like just got some of the largest bumps? Not to be confused with Fergie, just the largest bumps from the draft. No lovely lady humps or bumps, just straight up draft love. And some of the folks that were thrown out, and I'm sure that you guys might talk about it. Paris Campbell, Bobby Koch. What up, Bobby? Mr. Mecole Hardman was thrown out by Jake. What up, Jake Anderson? I think Aaron, you dirty for this, by the way. I think Aaron was trolling Bobby. He said Daniel Jones. That's cold. But what are some biggest risers for you guys?
I mean, it's got to be. I mean, the biggest riser has got to be Mecole Hardman, right? Because nobody really had him ranked anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I mean, FF Statistics just did a draft. I think he went in early second, and I think that's where you're seeing him go a lot of the time, thinking that he's going to replace even just 75% of what Tyreek Hill did. That's up there. I'm going to leave it to the tape guys to tell me what, or have you even studied Mecole Hardman in the first place? But if he even has the skill set that Tyreek Hill did. But I mean, yeah, just with draft capital, landing spot, to me, the biggest riser of this draft's got to be Mecole Hardman.
I'm pretty sure. Like Gabe, did you check out Mecole at all in terms of any kind of study beforehand, or not quite?
Yeah, I studied him up and down the fourth round of rookie dynasty drafts. No, I didn't, J Mike. I was
just curious. I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't watch him.
Yeah.
Well,
I couldn't have a take about him besides looking at his profile.
Kyle was apologizing to me today on our show because he hadn't watched Hardman. And I was like, dude, he only has 60 catches in his career at Georgia. So it's not like he was going to be on too many radars unless you knew that he was as fast as he is. And I think that that's really what we're looking at is you had this kind of vortex of Tyreek Hill news and the NFL draft happen all at once. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking at, okay, we got to figure something out with our receiver room. J Mike, you were saying earlier, there's basically nobody there except for Tyreek Hill at this point. And so they did the best they could to come close to Tyreek Hill. I mean, Hardman is incredibly fast. He's pretty good at finding holes in zones. He doesn't always know exactly what to do with it once he's got it. He's very good man-to-man if he gets a free release because he gets over the top. But as far as being Tyreek Hill, who is Tyreek Hill? I mean, he's the outlier to end all outliers. I mean, he's a guy that has scored all his touchdowns outside of 20 yards. He's a guy that has been the fastest player in the league. He started off as kind of a gadget slot, get him in space, transitioned to being a number one receiver, and everyone said there's no way that can happen. He did it. I mean, he's just been bucking trends. And to bet on, from a fantasy perspective, a guy to come in and buck trends like that again, it's hard for me to see.
Sammy Watkins.
Exactly.
Somebody on Twitter had an argument about saying that Sammy Watkins is injury prone is lazy. And I wonder if you guys think that, because I mean, he's missed 18 games in 4 seasons, in the past 4 seasons. He's had 1 full season played. Yeah, I mean, 8 of those were from the foot injury in 2015, something like that. But I mean, still, yeah, I mean, and yeah, he had 6 missed last year. I mean, he's got nicks all the time. So I just don't know why anybody would think that's lazy analysis when you haven't been able to rely on him sans his 1 year in LA, which he was the wide receiver 3 there. So,
well, I think that comes down to it's really hard to say definitively who's injury prone and why they got injured. And so it's easy to dismiss one way or the other. I think that there are guys. I think Watkins probably is a guy who's more prone to getting injured, especially given the types of injury. So I'm with you on that. Like, I think that just dismissing it offhand, I'm not willing to do that. But I think it gets thrown around so much. And take a Keenan Allen for a while, people were saying was injury prone. And I know that's the one that everyone goes to, but he ruptured his spleen or his liver or something, like got hit. Like, that's not something that you're prone to. That's just a freak accident. Something like the foot fracture with Sammy Watkins, not only does that make him more prone going forward, but it's almost a second surgery is almost always the case with that injury. And so you almost knew that he was going to miss more time.
And I thought Sammy had the second surgery, which is what basically was the result of the LA year where he was healthy all year. What really messed with me was because obviously, I'm a Sammy guy. I like Sammy Watkins quite a bit. Watching him be able to cook people all season long, but not have the ball thrown to him in LA was bothersome, but it was what it was. So then he goes to Kansas City. And like you said, and shout out to Matthew Betts. Matthew Betts was on actually with you guys, Sam. What was it, last week? I think last week's episode, maybe. He and Ethan Turner. Shout out to those guys. It was a lot of really good information you guys were sharing there. And he talks through this concept that in terms of, I think it was in this, something about not necessarily being injury prone, but if someone does something or hurts one part of their body, like tears an ACL, something of that nature, then they are more likely to tear it again, right? So in this case, we've got Trickfoot Sammy, sadly, and he's got a messed up foot, and I think he had the same surgery Dez had that several people have
Julio
had
Jones
and have come back from Julio, and have come back from strong after the fact. The problem is, I think the time, and I watched it so much because it messed with me so much when he got hurt. The way that the person landed on his foot, like his foot was like he was like up on his toes basically, and the person came down from behind and like smashed his foot into the ground to where his toes are up and the rest of his foot is up. So obviously not going to act like I'm an injury doctor here, but obviously when something like that happens, where normal people or people who haven't had this issue before may strain it or walk away from it fine, Trickfoot Sammy is dealing with missing games again, where he was super productive in the meantime otherwise. So I don't know where to get off the boat, and I guess maybe this opens up. And I think Chris, you said this in one of our league chats in Kamikaze. You said, "Hey, this whole Tyreek situation has opened up a very nice sell window for Sammy, and it makes my heart hurt." but I think you're probably right.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I mean, just let's think about when Tyreek Hill is. Let's just assume he's done for a minute, at least in Kansas City. Okay, and I think that automatically catapults for a lot of people Sammy Watkins back into their top 24 wide receivers. Just as an arbitrary number, let's say top 24 wide receivers. I'm not, as it pertains to Mecole and Sammy and the whole thing, I'm never going to assume Sammy plays 16 games, but we can for a minute because I kind of want to tie this into Sammy and Mecole. Let's just assume Sammy plays 16 games just for a moment. Let's assume Travis Kelce is everything he is. And just for the sake of this is going to trigger a lot of people, but let's just say that Damian Williams comes close to Kareem Hunt. Not saying he will. Let's just say he puts up some of those numbers just for a moment. What else is there on that receiving or skill position depth chart that's going to soak up any of what Tyreek Hill left behind except Mecole Hardman? What, DeMarcus Robinson and Greg Dieter? I could hit Greg Dieter upside the head with a stick, take his pads and helmet, and nobody would know I'm a different person than Greg Dieter. Like, nobody knows who he is. I don't see how the number 54 overall pick in the NFL draft, I think it was like the fourth wide receiver taken, doesn't get opportunity in the top three offense in the NFL. Now, whether he's efficient at it, that's yet to be seen. But I have to assume he's going to get opportunities to do so. And then it comes back to Sammy. What if Sammy doesn't play 16 games? I mean, yes, they could add a veteran presence. Let's say they go out and grab Michael Crabtree because Sammy Watkins went down or something. I mean, are we really scared of the ghost of Michael Crabtree either? I just see enough of the pie there, even with Mahomes' regression, to say this guy's worth a late first-round pick.
Yeah, but you got to look at the beginning of Tyreek Hill's career where he comes in and has, like 80 targets. The second year he had 105. And then all of a sudden they threw him out as the number one wide receiver, and now he's getting 140 targets. I don't think that you're going to see Mecole Hardman come in and be the one. I think you're going to see him be the four. I think you're going to see the options are Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, whoever the running back is, Damian Williams to start off, and then it's going to be Hardman. And so, yeah, great. He may be a fantastic player for Kansas City, but I'm still really leery about him being a great pickup and a great ad for your fantasy team. Especially, I think he's going to end up going in right around the first round of rookie drafts. Once this shakes out, once people realize, holy cow, there's a guy that Kansas City is replacing Tyreek Hill with.
Yeah, I don't want that narrative to overinflate his value to the point where maybe he's going 106 right after the top guys. I really like him in this 108 to 112 range right now. That's my sweet spot for him. And I, like you said, he can be the de facto number 4 in that offense. Maybe he's, right behind Damian Williams in targets. Maybe he only gets 80 targets or something. But let's just say for a second he catches 45 of them. And depending on how they use him, maybe we could at least infer they use him in a similar way to Tyreek because of the way he's built, right? Andy Reid's pretty smart. I can assume he's going to use him in that way. Maybe he scores 6 touchdowns on those 45 receptions. I mean, I think that's worth a late first-round pick to me.
No doubt. And I think that's the.
I mean,
Go ahead, Sam.
though, it's you have to compare it also to landing spots throughout this draft. I mean, I think there's 3 to 5 maybe of those top guys that we like the landing spots, and that could obviously vary based on who likes who. But a lot of these landing spots, you just had guys landing in terrible, or maybe not terrible offenses, but offenses that aren't going to cater to their skill set, or there's a lot of guys ahead of them on that roster, or guys just dropped down boards. Kelvin Harmon, for instance, went in the sixth round.
Yeah.
So I mean, the landing spots were atrocious, but I think that speaks to how the talent in the NFL currently. I mean, especially on the running back side. And I know that the Dynasty Dummies had spent an entire podcast talking about this. There were maybe 3-4 landing spots that you felt comfortable with, and the rest were like, well, you're going to have to compete for touches. So
Yeah.
it's right now the league is running back heavy, and there just weren't a lot of spots. Now that might change next draft with the incoming class, and a lot of those guys might just have a lot more talent than what exists currently. But yeah, there just weren't a lot of great landing spots, and a lot of the wide receivers went to places that they won't get used like we thought they would, like AJ Brown to Tennessee. So
Yeah, it was that 14-guy game of musical chairs with only 3 chairs.
right.
Well, if I may, maybe it's not, at least in the case of Kelvin Harmon, maybe it's not so much landing spot. I think if we talk about Washington taking him with their 3rd-round pick, we'd be talking about Kelvin Harmon in a much different light, because all he has to do is beat out Brian Quick for a roster spot and beat out Josh Doxson for targets. So, I mean, as far as landing spots go, I don't think that's too terribly bad. It just happens to be a 6th-round pick, which obviously blows. We don't ever want to see that. But if there's a place where a 6th-round pick wide receiver could go to thrive, maybe it's Washington.
All he has to do is beat out Josh Doxson.
Hey, I love Josh Doxson. I still do.
J Mike, whether it's this week or another week, it would be fun to have like a landing spot draft, like only like this player purely off of landing spot, because it seems like that really has helped some of these players just surge, between Mecole and Deontay Johnson. I guess people are a little nuts about that, but just something like that would be fun in the future, I think.
I want to throw this out to you guys real quick. If using DLF's May 2018 rookie ADP, Christian Kirk was number 18. Oh. Yes, 2018. Yeah, I'm going back a year, and I'm going to bring this full circle in 1 second. Kyle Lebrecht, you'll appreciate this. Full circle, baby. So Christian Kirk ended the season with 68 targets, 43 receptions, 590 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns, which according to the website DLF, approximately 125.5 points. Now, if we're talking about, and I'm not saying that Mecole Hardman or anybody is Tyreek Hill, even as a rookie, but what happens if he does give you, like Svoboda was saying, what happens if he gives you the 45 catches with 600 some odd yards and 13 yards of reception type stuff and 6 touchdowns? And I'm saying all that. Maybe he gives it to you, maybe he doesn't. But I'm saying all that to say, if you're willing to take any of these guys, these slew of receivers that fell in this late first round area, or what a lot of people feel like it's kind of a wasteland, if you will, between your AJ Brown, where AJ Brown landed, Isabella, Deebo Samuel, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Paris, Mecole Hardman, all those guys. Plus, if you have the mindset of Zeno, who taught me last week that one thing that's super helpful to think about is what is your expectation for the kid? What is your expectation for the rookie? If you have the expectation that you're taking someone at the end of the first round who can give you feel like realistically in an offense as good as Kansas City's 45, 606, wouldn't you think that's probably worth the stab at a late first round, or maybe even earlier, depending upon how you feel in comparison of the class? I'm just curious. I'm curious your all's thoughts on the expectations piece of what we have for these guys, because at that point it's take your pick after what, pick 6 or so, right?
Yeah, it's
Right,
6 or
after
7.
5, I think.
You're comparing Christian Kirk to McCole Hardman right now?
No, I'm throwing out the fact that he was 12 in ADP last year, and Christian Kirk got a whole lot more fanfare than Mecole Hardman last year.
But Christian
Right.
Kirk was a late first before the draft and before the combine. Like he hardly moved at all, I'd say.
No, I'm not saying it about the rise. I'm saying specifically the placement of late first. So if we're looking at if someone going late first, period, in rookie draft. So right now what we're saying is Mecole Hardman's probably a late first, right? I'm not saying Christian Kirk moved up from late first. I'm saying that's where he was last May.
So, I mean, I get the point, and I think it's more about value of this year's draft than anything, right? I mean, I have been a proponent of even like beyond like 1.04, just trading out and getting a random 2020 first. Just because after those, and it's, I mean, yeah, we could probably say after 5 or 6, that's where you kind of throw darts, but I mean, I didn't feel confident before this draft that we were going to get guys that were going to be that impactful. And then, yeah, we're making a guess on next year's draft. But if you look at what that potential class can be, I mean, even the wide receivers in that class, Jerry Jeudy, Laviska Shenault.
Say Ty Johnson, do it.
Ty Johnson. I mean, Brian Edwards. You have guys that are probably more talented than this class, the top wide receivers in this class. And then on top of that, you have like 5, 6, 7 deep at running back that are like legitimate running backs. I mean,
even more than that. Right. I mean, you got Swift, you got Etienne, you got Akers, you got Dobbins, you got Jonathan Taylor, Benjamin, AJ Dillon at Boston College, Najee Harris, Trey Sermon. I mean, Kylan Hill. I mean, not all these guys are going to hit.
No, right.
But holy cow. I mean, even if 5 or 6 of them are what we think they're going to be, that's just incredible.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just the comparison between 2018 or the 2018 class, 2019 and 2020 class. You just see this valley. In 2019 where your value just isn't there, and you're going to see it spike up again in 2020. And I'm sure you could do the same exercise that J-Mike's doing and see, okay, let's look at the back end of the first round of 2020 and the back end of the first round of 2019. And that value is going to be so much more.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is definitely the year to do it. If you want to hit the back end.
Right.
Sam, I think you're absolutely right. But I think everyone agrees with you, which is why I don't want to do what you're saying, because everyone hates their late first round picks, and I can get them for ridiculously cheap price compared to other classes.
Great. So great. I think the point there though, just and sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
The point there was like before the draft occurred, you could trade out. I would have even if it was like 1.04, 1.05, I would have wanted to trade out to just get that random 2020 first, because it's so deep that you're probably getting 1.02, 1.03 type value in this class at like 1.09, even like at the 12th pick of the first round next year.
Maybe, yes, you very well might be right. That's just a little bit too much projecting for my taste.
Oh yeah. And yeah, I mean that's fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like if I can get a guy, let's say Mecole Hardman, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Paris Campbell. Okay, let's just take those 3 guys. If 2 of those guys do well their rookie seasons, they're going to get a value spike. Okay. They're going to. That's the way it works. You do well, you get a value spike. Why can't I would just say advise, like, while everybody's pivoting off, there's room to pivot on at a price and make profit. I'm all about making profit, and that's where I'm targeting. I'm targeting 106 to 112 anywhere I can because it's cheap and there's a value. And chances are I can't fade an entire class because chances are there's going to be guys that hit, quote unquote hit, or at least get a value spike because they're performing relative to everyone around them, especially in this class. And it's at a price that's worth jumping on because it's profit.
So then maybe the pivot is not trading out for picks, but trading some of these first round for players who are already established, who haven't quite peaked yet. And so maybe that's the play. I mean, I got to be honest, a guy like Mecole Hardman, I know we keep coming back to this, like the chances in my mind, the chances of him hitting to the degree that I'm going to be really interested in having him rostered is far less than somebody else. Like, I mean, maybe it's not D.D. Westbrook, but somebody like that or Christian Kirk or any of these guys. Maybe James Washington took a hit because they just drafted another receiver in the third round. Any of these players who are established, maybe that's the pivot instead of, everybody's on the 2020 class, everybody's trading out of this rookie class. Maybe it's okay, we can drum up enough interest in the rookie draft while it's happening to get one of these guys who has more potential than some of these rookies and has a foothold.
Well, if I may, you said something there that kind of caught my ear. You said, and Mecole Hardman again, I'm sorry, I know you said that.
No, it's all good.
Keep going back to him, but you said you don't think, or at least what I remember, the percentage of him hitting to a point you want to have him rostered over a guy, let's say James Washington that you brought up. What is that line? What does he have to hit?
And I don't know, but like I really think the bet on a player. So again, we're betting on a player who's a type of NFL player that is an outlier. Mm-hmm. To be on a team replacing the outlier. It's just really hard for me to bet on that rather than bet on a player like James Washington, who was a guy that last year I had as my wide receiver 1. He went to Pittsburgh. Okay, so then he dropped to wide receiver 2 or 3 because he was behind 2 guys. Now all of a sudden he's got potential opportunity. We've got the shadow of Deontay Johnson over him. Maybe we're worried, maybe we're not, but it's still a guy that I had as my wide receiver 1 after film last year, and the prototype of a player that I think will be successful in the NFL, as opposed to a guy who could be uber successful in the NFL, but the chances of him being successful, it's the same argument for me against Hollywood Brown. Like, Hollywood Brown could be fantastic. I won't find out because I'm not going to own any of him because his body type and the way he wins is such an outlier in the NFL that I'm not going to draft him.
Well, I'm not going to touch Hollywood Brown either. I don't like small wide receivers with foot injuries. Okay, like that's just me personally. But and I love James Washington, so I'm not going to fight you on that. I love the guy as a player. I think he's great. But when you talk about what he did in his rookie year, and what Mecole can do, and I'm not. Everyone says replace. I'm not looking for replacement of what Tyreek Hill left. Even 50% of what Tyreek Hill left says that I think he will have a better career than James Washington.
So let's just take Tyreek Hill out of the equation though, and this is going to be hard to do because you've seen what he's done.
It's totally fine. As far as I'm concerned, he's out of the equation.
But now all of a sudden you bring in Mecole Hardman, who is not like any other receiver in the NFL now because Tyreek Hill is gone. Like there's nobody who does what he does. I mean, name me another player who succeeds the way Tyreek Hill does. There isn't. So now you've got one player out of how many players in the NFL that succeeds that way, and you're expecting Hardman to come in and succeed that same way. And I'm not saying he can't, and I'm not saying that I'm right. Like I totally understand your argument, and that's a great bet, especially if you can get him in the second round. I'm all about that. In the first round, I want a guy who I'm going to put in my lineup at some point. I'm going to take Fant. I'm going to take Hawkinson. Never mind. Don't quote me on that. I hate tight ends in the first round. I don't want to do that. But there are guys
Get off your brand there.
I can't do it. but there are guys who are going to be closer to what I'm comfortable with as a receiver in the first round that I'm more confident will be successful.
So, Chris, just to follow up on Zach's point, you bring up James Washington. Is there a reason that you don't think he will be as successful as a Mecole Hardman?
No, I mean, I'm just saying he had a year in the NFL. He happened to be behind two great NFL wide receivers. It just, unfortunately, that happened because I love James Washington too.
Three great wide receivers. Vance McDonald killed a man on the field. So
okay, we can count Vance McDonald. He's still there then.
By the way, he's still living on that reputation. He's like, it's not like he had a great season. He just had that one game where he destroyed somebody, and then he's just like riding high on that.
It happened.
And as it pertains to Mecole, he's behind two. Well, okay, let's say Travis Kelce for sure. Okay, is really good.
Too great. Sammy Watkins, too great.
I'm not going to go that far.
Keep going. Yep, too great. You were saying
he's behind 1.5 good NFL wide receivers. Depending on how many legs Sammy has that day. I think I'm going to chase at least the opportunity for a rookie. Because I like what rookie production does as it pertains to career projection is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So on that though, I mean, we know James Washington was far and away better or more productive in college. I shouldn't say better because that's obviously subjective, but on a objective numbers basis, though he did play in the Big 12, James Washington was a lot more productive.
I love them.
And so to me, like, James Washington is really entering his quote-unquote rookie season, but he already has a year of learning this system under his belt. And he's going into as the wide receiver 2 on an offense that I believe threw the ball the most of any team last season. And they're always up there above 500. I think they broke 600 passing attempts this season. And Antonio Brown is gone. He had 168 targets last season. So while I think that they're going to run the ball a little bit more, I don't know if they'll break 600 passing attempts. You still probably can project James Washington for over 100 targets. And yes, it is a projection. I will give you that. But in an objective bubble, or in an objective vacuum, not a bubble, but a vacuum, you would think you would want James Washington just based off of the vacated targets, his college production, and him being in a system for a year and having learned that system. Right?
I let's just say I trust Patrick Mahomes more than Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay. I can get behind that. I mean, that's fair enough.
Maybe even the husk of Ben Roethlisberger. When is he going to hit that cliff? Especially without Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I think can I interject one thing real quick? I did like the husk. Were you about to say something, Gabe?
I just wanted to repeat that he said the husk, and it was great.
I just want to interject real quick, Sam, to kind of talk through this point, and it doesn't and we can expand this out past Mecole. And one of the things that I wanted to also interject as well, I think Zach, you said this on one of your shows, is that in the event that you're picking at the end of your draft, you do typically have the liberty, likely because of how you finished your last season, to take these giant home run cuts, right? These
Yeah.
Adam Dunn, these Frank Thomas swings to say, hey, if I get this and add this to my roster, like, hey, we're about to be in business all over again, right? So it feels like this is definitely one of those years, even in the midst of all the awkwardness at the back end or back half of the draft, you have the opportunity with your DKs, with your, because there's so much ambiguity, right? There's so much ambiguity, even in these, not just the landing spots, not just the players, but when they get married together. So in the sense, Sam, to kind of bring this to your point, I think there's more ambiguity in the Chiefs offense, which allows us to get more excited about someone to some degree like Mecole, than to say James Washington enters, even with the vacated targets from Antonio Brown and Jesse James, which is like 200 some odd targets, right? They still brought in Deontay Johnson. They still brought in Dante Moncrief. Shout out Gabe. I know you're still riding. There's still so much. There's still a lot in structure in terms of the focal points of the offense in Pittsburgh. But there's so much ambiguity in Kansas City where you can make, man, maybe I can tell myself the story that Mecole Hardman can be something, or maybe I can tell myself that that JJ Arcega-Whiteside becomes the red zone threat that they didn't necessarily have consistently in Philadelphia. And I think that that's part of, at least, again, I'm processing this. I'm not declaring anything. I like to ask the questions to let the smart people talk. But those are the things that I'm processing as we talk through this that make me think, man, 201, 112, whatever it may be there, taking the home run cut on someone like Hardman, your JJs, your Parises, your whomever there, I feel like it could pay huge dividends if you hit. Obviously, it depends on if you hit, but that lends to this idea that we saw James Washington not get what we hoped he would as a rookie, and then we watched him also bring in guys who played the same position to compete with him. So there's just more that I'm unsure about.
I mean, and I think a lot of that has to do with your team build, right? So if you have if you have a few receivers that are upper echelon that will start weekly, and Hardman probably wouldn't see the field unless he actually does hit, that is one thing where it's like, okay, I can take a chance here because, like, I guess, for instance, one of my teams, I have Juju Smith-Schuster, and this is going to be me roster baiting real quick, so forgive me, everybody in the audience. So I have Juju Smith-Schuster, Kenny Golladay, Chris Godwin, and then I have like guys like Traquan Smith, Kiki Kuti, Christian Kirk. So like it's really deep with young guys that I think will hit. So in that instance, and I actually traded for Tyreek Hill post all of this, not post audio, but post when that news came out, post investigation. So I felt I could do that trade because even if Tyreek Hill got suspended, my roster could absorb that hit. And I think that's the same case here with Mecole Hardman, is if you have those guys that are going to start above him regardless, and you can take that chance on Mecole Hardman because even if he doesn't hit, you're not really hurt. And especially in this class where you just don't have a lot of guys that I would be confident hitting in the first few seasons because of their situations.
I just want to say the last thing on Mecole Hardman, and then we can move on, J. Mike, I promise. As it pertains to my what's the third? I think the situation I laid out earlier with all of those assumptions. I was really trying to rein in these expectations I have for Mecole. Like I said, assume Sammy Watkins plays 16 games. Assume Travis Kelce does everything he always does. Assume Damian Williams gets those Kareem Hunt type numbers. That's still, like I said, assuming everything goes wrong for Mecole Hardman. That's still a lot of pie left for what Mahomes had and what Tyreek Hill left behind. And I'm still saying, like, even if he's not getting the whole pie, 80 targets, 40 catches, 6 and 6, that's pretty low expectations for what this offense and what this situation can bring a second round wide receiver. If AJ Brown or someone got drafted in the second round of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like, if this wasn't Mecole Hardman, we would be talking about 101, 102 talk for the situation. And it's just, unfortunately, it happens to be, a Georgia wide receiver that didn't really produce in college. I mean, a lot of things can go wrong for Mecole, and he can still be successful, which is why that's the gamble I'm taking every day of the week in the late first round.
Hey, Gabe, does Mecole enter the pantheon of Cooper Kupp and Damian Williams
Yeah,
and the Browns?
right fucking there, dude. I left for 2 minutes and I thought when I left, y'all weren't even fucking talking about him, were you?
Who are we talking about?
Yeah. What? Cooper Kupp? Cooper Kupp or I'm just kidding.
I wanted to say
Aton in the audience tonight.
He was in the chat earlier. I think he left. He might be back.
Aton and Stompy as a team, they're unstoppable.
Bull.
By
the way, I just need
got some fans right there finishing my sentences.
Gave some props for the best ball.
That's
song.
Fire.
And seriously, listen to it at 2x. Like I get jacked up on that.
Should I just start releasing my intros at 1.5, 2 times the speed? Just giving them to my
doing this in the first place.
The secret is out.
No, best ball.
Thank you, Stompy. I appreciate that.
Remember, Gabe, we decided that we really want to hear the Dynasty Diagnostic song at 1.25. That's what we decided. Because Gabe loves it, obviously, as it is, and it is fire. Fact. I listen to podcasts on 1.5, so for whatever reason, when I heard it, I was like, oh, snap. Like, this is crazy. And then I heard, like, the original. And I was like, why is it so slowed down? Oh, yeah, I listen to 1.5x. And we decided that if we listen to it at 1.25, I think that may be the sweet spot. However, with all the success from the music video and the drinking tar and oil that Gabe does and live to tell the tale about it, like
hater oil.
Maybe you're on to something.
I mean, look, guys. If you're gonna listen to your, some of your actual favorite songs out there that exist, I highly doubt that you're listening to them at 1.25, 1.5, and 2. So I understand that podcasts are a different world, but just what's the rush, man? Live in the moment.
Well, that's you.
I got too much stuff to consume. I listen to everybody's podcasts. I'm like, I gotta speed this up. I got too much stuff to listen to.
Yeah, but you give Gabe the 45 seconds of respect that he deserves, and then you click that button twice, so you're going 2 times speed.
I'm glad you said it, Zach, because it wasn't going to be me.
Hey, look, I told you that is my the diagnostic. That is my favorite intro. Period. Like I love it, and that one. I'll even rewind it back and listen to it, twice before the show, just to get there,
I guess thank you, first of all, but I guess if you listen to an intro at 2 times the speed and play it back, then really you've listened to it twice.
Giving you more exposure.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Papa Hood. Tell me what to see. Papa Hood.
Stop it, J. Mike.
Is it done steep?
Hey, can I jump in on the Mecole Hardman situation, the talk here? Or are we done with that?
No.
I thought we were done.
I just want to mention I keep bringing it up, and I probably will until Mecole Hardman is not a thing anymore. But what about when Philip Dorsett landed with the Colts? That was probably around the time. I'm not even gonna fact check myself here. Maybe y'all can throw me under the bus here, but what was that close to a year where Luck had an amazing year and was came to be like the number 1 overall QB, much like Mahomes, or at least projected into top 5 or after a good season. I don't know, but I can imagine that offense was looked at as a positive, and I know that no one had Dorsett all that high. Maybe not as low as people had Mecole, but when to see Dorsett in the first round, everyone was very, very surprised. But because of that landing spot, we still gave him the respect of that late first. And I think that it's the same thing here. I just think it's so similar, like that there's this disconnect between the talent observation alone and then getting jaded by the NFL draft landing spot and the draft capital. And I don't know. I could be entirely wrong, but I just think that people are overreacting, and that is part of fantasy football. So take that, dweebs.
take that for data. No, that was pre my dynasty time, so I can't even speak to that. But that's fun. So at this point, before we get ready to shut the bar down here soon, I'm curious of you guys, when it comes to these rookie drafts and everything that we're having, when's your all's preferred time to have rookie drafts and auctions? What do you guys prefer? And by the way, before y'all even answer, I'll give you a chance to think about it. And I think we may have I'm not sure if we brought this up here or where I first heard it, but some people do what's called a split draft, apparently, a split rookie draft. So they'll do the thing where they do the first 2 rounds like soonish after the draft and do rounds 3 and 4 like right before the season, which I think is just wonderful because it gives that 301 an extra boost in value. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Anyway, what are your all's thoughts?
That's fun. I like it. Do it over. Do 1 round a month. Do May 1st, round 1. June 1st, July 1st, August 1st.
We really needed Outhouse on if we're doing that's a hashtag team like really slow draft. That's you're going to like half speed on that.
I was wearing that shirt earlier. I was wearing that shirt earlier today too. Shout out to Outhouse. Hope he's well. His family's well. But I was wearing that shirt earlier today, and I sent him a picture. Like, man, I'm thinking of you in the midst of it all. But that would be legitimately our brand. The whole hashtag team slow draft. What up, Brian Haar? See you, Brian Haar is my guy. We are team slow draft to the death. Anyway, drafts. I'm with
you, J Mike. People are some haters out there, man. It's literally called a slow draft. Like, goddamn. Y'all listen to your podcast at 2 times the speed. Y'all putting mustard on everything. Like,
what you about to say, Sam?
Y'all drafting Mecole Hardman.
From now on, I'm just going to
do that.
You're describing my life.
Any podcast that I listen to that has a Gabe intro, I'm going to put it at change it to 1x for the intro, and then I'm going to speed it up.
There you go.
That's for you, just to respect.
There you go. I feel like if we've done nothing else on this show, this whole thing was worth it.
Respect my man. Gabe. Respect the bun.
Respect the bun. I like that.
Respect the bun. Now, if we can just convince everyone to allow an intro to be somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes on their podcast that is, an hour to an hour and a half long.
Every week. That's what I shoot for.
And I give you
2 minutes is the sweet spot.
I love everyone. I'm just loving on a different level tonight, apparently.
So, J-Mike,
can you skip the whole instrumental thing and just get to the lyrics part, please, if you don't mind? We got a lot of awesome content we want to get to. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Zach, you were saying.
You got me.
No, I was just going to say that I think that we kind of have lost a little bit of enjoying this. We get so wrapped up in everything. It goes so fast, and everybody wants to have their draft the day after the NFL draft. I've seen drafts start during the NFL draft. Like, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, great. Get in a league, do that. That's awesome. But I also think that those people are the same people next week that'll be going, man, I wish I had a draft. Man, I wish I had a draft. And I'm going, well, I got 3 more just kind of spread out. I got, one at the end of May. I got one in June. I actually have one of the split drafts. I like it, but I always forget that we're doing the second half of it. So we do the first half, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta actually think about 2 more picks, and then I just try to trade out of them because whatever, I don't care about the 3rd and 4th round anyway. But yeah, like I'm not in as big a rush, I think, as a lot of people, because I love drafting and thinking about drafting, strategizing about drafting, talking to people about all of these players. That's fun for me. This is what's fun for me. And so whenever, let's push it up. Let's push it back a week. Let's push it back 2 weeks. Let's do a slow draft. Let's sit there in the chat and shoot the shit. Like I'm all about that life.
I'm with you.
I say do it the week before the NFL.
Now we're talking. Way to go, Stompy.
I hate and I like, this is when we do my redraft drafts. I hate doing drafts so early because I don't know who's gonna. I get it if you've done your homework, yada yada yada.
Get in a Devi league already.
God damn. Why don't you know these guys from high school, bro? But yeah, I hate doing it so early because I don't know what situations are going to change. I understand, there's fun and risk, but I would rather know the situations so I can evaluate better what players are going to have an actual impact. I mean, for instance, Kelvin Harmon. Yeah, he's a 6th round pick, but as Chris said, there's not really a ton of people ahead of him. You have Doxson, who hasn't been great, Richardson, who's been injured. Trey Quinn's about the only one that I really trust there. And then you have Terry McLaurin and Kelvin Harmon. And that could change very rapidly if Kelvin Harmon performs in the preseason. And he could be the wide receiver 2 or even wide receiver 1 if you think about it on that team, which is not fantastic, but it's still pretty valuable as a wide receiver 2 or 3. But you don't know that's going to happen right now. So let these situations hash themselves out before I have to draft.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say the counter to that is you're never going to have all the information that you want. You're never going to know everything you want to know, and fluids change, or situations and everything's fluid in the NFL. They change every day. I mean, if you're a volume player, I mean, probably the best thing is to spread them out. You know what I mean? Have one maybe before the NFL draft, have one right after the NFL draft, have one in May, have one in June, have one in July, so you can get a kind of taste of everything. I'm personally, as J Mike knows, I think he's the only one in here I'm in a league with. Every league I commish, I'm like, you guys want to draft today? Like I want to reward the guys who are always there, who are always working, who are like, if they're working and they draft the right players now, then I'd like to reward that. I mean, it's not that they're better dynasty players, it's just that they're more ready, I guess. I don't know what the right way to put it is. But if they're ready to go and they're ready to draft, then let's draft. I mean, you could draft Kelvin Harmon, the week before the NFL draft, and you get burned. I mean, sorry, you could draft Mecole Hardman right now and get burned. You can draft, Deebo Samuel in August and get burned. You can get burned any day of the week, any day of the year. It's not the draft's fault. It's not when you held the draft's fault. It's just the way fantasy football goes sometimes. I mean, I'm never going to have all the information I ever want. If we did, I'd be the best dynasty player ever, but I can definitely tell you I'm not. So, I would just say you're never going to have all the information. If you're a volume player, just spread them out, have fun with it, I guess.
Have fun. Whatever
That's
you
really
do,
the
however you
takeaway.
choose. However you choose to rock it, man. Get in some leagues or a league or whatever your role is with people you enjoy, with settings you enjoy, who are rocking the way that you want to rock and enjoy it, whatever your speed is. Ain't that right, Gabe? Maybe, sort of, kind of.
About the hood. Tell me what you say. About the hood.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm with you, J Mike. You do you, whatever that may be. People there it's impossible to have a league or a group of people that are going to agree on one thing, anything. So we can just leave it at that. We wouldn't be able to have these beautiful conversations without, contrast, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the heat.
Right. You do you as long as you're doing a 16-team Devy league, super flex, 0.25 point per carry, 2 tight end premium too. Don't forget the tight end premium, and let's add 2 flex spots.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're auction drafting,
Great.
right?
Oh, and it's
auction draft. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm in a league just about exactly like that. I think we did that.
Did you just subtweet Swoboda,
Huh?
Zach? Did you just subtweet Swoboda? Why are you calling him out?
I'm literally. I don't think Zach's here in it, obviously, but I think he described the league I'm in with the Superflex Super Show fellas. Sam, you do that now, right?
The fog of war.
No. This was before. This was when Travis was still doing it. We did a startup last year.
No, I'm not involved in that. They don't tell me things. I'm just.
So it's just funny that I think I'm in that league, and it's pretty much exactly the settings that Zach just said. Actually, 16 team super flex, points per carry, extra flex, 2 tight end premium. I think that's it.
That seems like chaos to me. By the way,
It's ridiculous.
by the way, I mentioned fog of war. I don't know if anybody here is in that.
Incredible league. I'm in it.
Poof. So basically, this is a John Bosch creation. Mad genius of fantasy football that he is. He wanted to do an auction league, but he wanted to do a blind auction league. 54 teams, 4 copy.
56.
All right.
I think.
56 teams, 4 copy. Basically, a division gets a day where they nominate players, and you go in and you blind bid. You go into the ad drop on My Fantasy League and blind bid on those players. And then the bids run at midnight, and you see who won each copy of that player. And the gap between the highest paying and the lowest paying is pretty large. I mean, Patrick Mahomes went for 440 some odd. You get 1,000 blind bidding dollar or auction dollars. Patrick Mahomes went for 400 something and like 250. That was like the gap between each the 4 copies. It's pretty wild.
It was insane. It's
And
an
then
incredibly fun league. We've only had like 2 days, I think, of waivers run, and it's just fun to see all the guys who might have paid, like he said, the Mahomes price for nearly 50% of your budget, and then see the guy who won it for like 270 just has to be like jumping up and down when he got that email because he got the same player they did, and he's got twice as much money as they do, or saved twice as much as they did. I mean, it's just crazy. I've been lucky. I've won like 6 players, and I've got the cheapest or the second cheapest copy on every one of them, which is how you want to do it in a league like this.
I can just hear the Voxer every morning of John just maniacally laughing. Just that's it. Just a little beep, and then Bosch laughing.
He's having fun. It's good stuff. I don't know how many players he's actually won. I think he's won a couple, but he's mostly been watching so far.
Oh, his leagues are so much fun. They're crazy, but so much fun.
Man,
Can confirm. I was just looking at our bar tab auction, J Mike, and saw at the top of the players available to bid on or to start the auction for is your boy, Hollywood McCall.
stop, bro. Stop.
Come on, that's good.
Nope.
But yes, it is.
Nope.
That's good. It's good.
No.
Haterade.
Sipping.
hmm Yeah. No, this the auction's going on in Bar Tab, and that's fun to monitor, fun, stressful. The non-proxy, everyone's favorite.
No table talk going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I love table talk. Do it, whatever. Well,
I think
Jay,
that does it, Gate.
Okay. There isn't anything more we can say about Hardman? You sure?
Well, I think that the statistical correlation between Cooper Kupp and Mecole Hardman really is perfect for the fact that they landed, or basically he landed on the same team as Damian Williams. And I think that I'm probably going to end up sending you an offer in some league with all three, and I'm not going to ask for anything in return. And I'm going to see if you accept it.
That's
all.
funny.
But no,
All right.
that's all I got.
All right. Sounds good. I guess we'll call it a night. Call it an evening, call it a day, call it an open bar. Last call of sorts. This is it. We did it. We're done. We're gonna say goodbye. We're gonna let everyone say their own goodbye. One by one. Start with the mustard man himself.
The winner of the condiment draft. Do we have poll results?
I didn't do a poll, but I'll run that.
You didn't do a poll?
I'll run that.
If you expected
tomorrow.
people to reply, Twitter's lazy, man. You got to do a poll.
I know. Poll's so easy. Just click. Yeah. But who am I? I have to leave someone out. You can only do 4.
Well,
who
I think
picked
I'm an
Marinara?
obvious first place.
Who the hell
So,
picked Marinara? Leave him out.
Huh.
I mean, you just leave me out. I'll wait for the winner of the consolation bracket,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll just go one-on-one for
Your
the win.
weird pickled onion relish, whatever beets.
Get out of here with
Beats.
that. Anyway, I'm sorry we had an hour and a half of Mecole Hardman talk. That was my fault. But it was really fun. I enjoyed being here.
No apologies necessary.
No, yeah, we enjoyed you. It's all I enjoy talking about Cooper Kupp and Damian Williams and Mecole Hardman for 75% of my podcast life.
In the annals of history, man. The annals of history. Whoa.
What? The Swoboda, happy to have you, brother. That I keep calling you that. That's your handle as well. Yes.
Indeed.
The Swoboda, DHH. The Swa is an SV. Holla at your boy. Stompy. What have you got to share? You got a lot of things going on, my guy.
Yeah. I have a few less than last time. I think I was literally everywhere on Twitter. Started a podcast called The Dynasty Diagnostic with the most fire intro out there. Thanks to the man bun. Respect the bun, man.
Respect the bun.
So me and Eitan Mosia have that going on every week. Got some big guests coming up. Could reveal it here. Matt Waldman, Sigmund Bloom, Mark Schofield. Got some big boys coming on here soon. Superflex Super Show over on DLF. My guys John Hogue and James the Brain. Got that going on every week. Superflex is the only way to play fantasy football, by the way. The only way.
Yes.
Isn't that right, Zach?
Of course. I think Kyle left the chat, so yeah, we can play Superflex if you want.
Zach's like looking behind him too. Kyle's about
Can
to
you show it behind me? It's like yelling Beetlejuice too much.
Superflex. Superflex, Zach.
And then, finally, content manager with Matt Williams over at FF Statistics, we are going to be putting out a draft kit here soon. So be looking out for that.
And do y'all do the baseball podcast? Phil?
Yeah. We've been dealing with some personal stuff lately, sicknesses and whatnot. So we haven't been able to record it as much, but yeah, we're doing the Turn 2 baseball podcast over there, me and Matt. So if you like baseball, come listen to us.
Yeah, you guys said that my team was good, so thanks for one. The face is back. Nah, I don't feel good.
It's for everybody's
All of a
enjoyment.
sudden.
Hey, what is it? What are you saying? Are you saying I can't be a GQ cover model? How dare
No.
you?
It wasn't that. It was just the
Teeth.
That's it. The look, the angle of depression,
The Sam Sneer.
Shut up, boys.
the Sam Sneer. I'm 1-3 in my baseball league, and
Me
but
too.
I have the second most points scored, so regression is on its way.
Yes.
I am too. It kind of sucks.
Yeah. Mike Trout, baby. All right.
$4 billion $400 million man.
Yeah. Take that, Stompy. With all your fantasy football winnings.
Yeah, right. Shoot. Almost got there.
Zach, my guy, the cook, lobster rolls in the back, coming straight out the can. What do you have to share with us? Are you coming on with us next week too?
Hey, I'm free. Why not?
Yeah.
No, actually, I got to go on with Outhouse next Tuesday. So he and I are gonna record a trade addicts because I have a trading problem. It's that I suck at trades, and so he's gonna help me out.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm over at the Dummies. Kyle Lebrecht. I mean, you guys know Kyle at K Lebrecht. He's really the brains behind the operation, and I don't really know what I do other than sing for 2 minutes at the beginning very poorly.
Disagree.
Hard.
I mean-
disagree.
Yeah. I was going to comment on that earlier.
I went Jay Giles. Jay Giles passed away. I went Jay Giles this week. Kind of in the honor, and also because Love stinks, and this draft really kind of fit.
Yes. And that is why y'all are drafting Mecole Hardman at the end.
Now he's bringing it up a lot. It's not even us bringing it up, Gabe.
Maybe Mecole Hardman will be next week's parody. I'll see if I can roll him in.
do some Outcast, would you, for J Mike?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
It's out of my wheelhouse, but everything's out of my wheelhouse, so that's all good.
Maybe we can collab and make something, because J Mike kind of, upset me a little bit with my nickname that I thought was great, and he just didn't wasn't there with me.
Sometimes you got it. Sometimes you don't.
Hey.
Eat a Snickers, bro. You're not you when you're hungry.
All right. Thank you, fellas. Thank you very, very much. This was absolutely wonderful. Per usual. It's finally over, the NFL draft. We can relax and just not do anything until August, right?
Hashtag
At
Team Slow
another
Draft.
league, no, best ball. It's the best job.
J Mike, what do you have to say to the people of the open bar?
To everyone in the chat, thank you guys for rocking with us again. If you're listening to this in podcast form, live show Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Never late, always on time ish. And we have a lot of fun in the chat. So shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys are the lifeblood. We appreciate you. To our guests, grateful for you guys. Zach, my brother, thank you. Svoboda, my guy. Stompy, the champ himself.
I
We
see you
are just grateful and thankful to have you.
Posted my sneer on Twitter.
Yes. Hashtag the hashtag Sam Sneer starring FF Stompy. You can check it on my timeline at JMikeCheck, at JMIC Check. You can find the show's handle at the Open Bar FP, at the Open Bar FP is in fake pigskin. What up, Robert? What up, Jared? And my better half, Mr. Gabe Gearing, on Twitter at FF Man Bun. Respect the bun, Bun G. You know what it is. And we are just grateful to be able to do this on a weekly basis. This week, definitely appreciate the escape that is the Open Bar. So you guys are fantastic. You are much appreciated, and when you have loved ones or your friends or whomever it may be in your life that you're rocking with, man, give them a hug, give them a smile, give them a fist bump. Even if it's just people on Twitter, let them know that you care about them, you respect them, that you love their work, that you appreciate being able to chop it up with them on the daily. Those moments are precious, so value those. And with that, Gabe, take us home.
Cannot agree more with you, or at least the face. The Stompy sneer, the Sam sneer.
That mustache makes it look so much worse.
I know that. I think that is the combination that really gets me. Is that right there? Okay, back to beautiful. Oh, now there it is. Me could not agree with you more, J Mike. We all disagree on things here on this website, these group chats, these podcasts, whatever it may be, but it's all love, baby. Love each other. We're here for each other. We support each other. And it's one of the most beautiful communities on earth that we can do this day in and day out. So shout out to all y'all just joining us and interacting with us, with me, J Mike, whomever, because it is a good thing. I think that's it. J Mike, we do have a show next week. We'll be there for that. Hopefully weeks in advance we'll have shows. I don't know if we can quite swing the lineup that our boy Stompy is getting at. But you know, we'll try. You'll be here for us. We appreciate that much. No, we do have some good people coming up, and everyone is on equal ground for us. You know, we don't really, whatever. We're the Open Bar, baby. Everyone can have a beer, a cocktail of their choosing. We have a store. We have a what else do we have? Podcasts everywhere. We have a live show every Tuesday. Just come out and hang with us. My goodness, you can be a part of something beautiful. I'm gonna make a shirt tonight with that's only colored in mustard, and it's gonna have the Open Bar logo on it. And the Swoboda is gonna buy it, and
buy it. I'll probably eat it.
you're probably gonna eat that, yeah. And smash it between some provolone. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Provolone on some dark wheat bread, some roast beef, maybe. I don't know. Sounds kind of good.
Okay, Swoboda, calm down. I'm gonna stop the broadcast soon. Don't do this on air.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
All right, that's it. Y'all already pumped me up on the podcast enough, or the podcast intros enough, so I'm not even gonna say that. But everybody love everybody. That's what Stompy just said, I believe. ELE, let's get it. It's the Open Bar, baby. Put your drinks up, whether you have one or not. You can put a fist, you can put a finger, just not the middle. And we will see y'all next week. Just 7 days. We're gonna be here the same time ish. All right, deuces.